Next, we are going to define the creditor's ledger. Now, whereas the creditor's control account gives an indication of the totality of the picture of all the creditors combined, the creditor's ledger is the collection of the individual creditors' accounts. So the specifics and details of all the transactions with a specific creditor we can find in the creditor's ledger. If we look at the structure of the creditor's ledger, we have a debit and a credit column and then a running balance column total. We also have to indicate, other than the dates, the details, which is usually we refer to the source documents to a great extent. And then we have the folio in terms of from which journals we post it. So basically when we post from when it relates to our creditors, some of it we will post to, or usually we post to both destinations actually. So for the individual creditor, we will post to the creditor's ledger, and then in terms of for the holistic purpose, we will also post to the creditor's control account. So we start off with opening balances. Since we are busy with creditors, it will be a credit balance. So for example, we could also have interest charge because we are overdue in paying our creditors. That will happen in our general journal, and it will increase how much we owe the creditors. So creditors or liabilities increase on the credit side. So now our balance increased from 8,000 to 8,090. When we pay creditors, we will issue a check and we will record it in the cash payments journal. And now it's the opposite. Since we reduce how much we owe, we will have to make a debit entry for that particular creditor, in this case Mabasa Manufacturers. And now we can see we actually even overpaid. We owed 8,090. We made a payment for 100 Rand more. So now our balance actually became a debit balance, and therefore now the creditor actually will refund us for the overpayment. So we will receive money and record it in our cash receipts journal, and therefore we will issue a receipt. And now again, the balance will become zero, so we will have to credit to bring that balance to zero, as it was a debit balance beforehand. When we purchase stuff on credit, it means that we will have an invoice that we receive from the supplier. We will record it in our creditor's journal, and we will owe more, so we will credit the account of that creditor, and our balance will increase. Now sometimes when we pay, we also pay early and we will get a discount. So we usually split then between the actual amount that we paid according to the check and then the discount that we receive, which we both record in the CPJ. So both will decrease how much we owe our creditors, so we will have to debit. And then when we return goods to our creditor, we owe less money, so liabilities increase on the debit side, so we will issue a debit note, and therefore we will debit the account of the creditor. And we know returns we record in our creditor's allowance journal, and so Again, because it's a debit, it decreases how much we owe. So this is now the closing balance, therefore, of this particular creditor's individual account. So this is only one creditor. There are many creditors. Each one have their own account to form the totality of the creditor's ledger.